Hello and welcome to Are You Not Entertained, the show where we bring you some of the best entertainment discussion from people just like you. I'm your presenter, Aisha Salan, and for the next half an hour, I'll be your guide through all things film, books and music. If you can't tell your Stephen King from your Stephanie Meyers, your Willem Dafoe from your will.i.am, or whatever's going on with those Hemsworth brothers, this is the show for you. And if you can do all that, well, congratulations. We'll have plenty of discussions and exciting recommendations coming your way. Together with my amazing group of panellists, we'll be discussing a huge range of entertainment, all linked by today's special theme of female creators. We love girl power. From heartwarming romance to shocking horror to musical icons, we've got so many different things to discuss. And to top it off, we have a very special guest from the entertainment industry to wrap up with. But now, without further delay, let's meet today's panellists. Our film lovers, Isabel Matthews and Harry Bleakley, our resident bookworm, Ben Badham, and our music enthusiast, Amy Denston. Wow, it's so great to see you all here today. Welcome to Are You Not Entertained? Now, let's get started with our first section and learn some more about books. Hi Ben, so you're here to tell us about a newer but highly influential author who's written some books you guys at home may recognise. So Ben, can you introduce the audience who this is?
Yeah, so today I'll be talking about Sally Rooney.
Okay, nice. So what are their books that we might know?
So yeah, she's most famous for the book Normal People, which was adapted into a very famous TV show. But she's also written Conversation with Friends, Beautiful World, Where Are You, and Intermezzo. So
what drew you towards this author and how does their work make you feel?
I was given it as a gift from someone, and I didn't want to read it for ages. The book, this Normal People, this is, because I just thought it was just some sort of like cliche love story. And then I sort of learned a bit about her. I'd been studying like Marxism at the time through sixth form, and I heard she was a self-proclaimed Marxist. So I thought I'd give her a chance. And then I sort of found out what who her inspirations were, and I liked her inspirations. And I just thought I'd give it a chance. And then I couldn't put it down. I read it in like 2 days. I could not stop reading it.
Oh, that's
really
so cute.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Any thoughts?
I haven't read the book, but I have watched the series.
Okay.
And I feel like sometimes when you read the book, it adds more depth
Yeah.
to it because sometimes they miss parts out. Like I read a book and I've watched a film, and they've missed like half the book out. So I think reading the book's definitely worth it because it does add.
Yeah,
more
people say
depth.
the books are better than the actual films.
Yeah, I always feel like that as well. Yeah.
So yeah, because I read it, but I didn't watch the TV show. And I remember when I read the end of it, I was sat in the bath like crying at the end.
Oh, bless. What is it you learnt from reading these books, and what can others learn?
The narratives of each book are not narratives I usually go towards. I usually sort of go to stuff a bit darker, and they're quite sort of a slice of life type books. Sort of a bit like kitchen sink dramas. And like I said, it's stuff I wouldn't usually go towards. So I suppose, don't be so like picky about what you're reading and just try something new, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I said, as cliche as it seems, don't judge a book by its cover.
Why do you think this is an important text for women or women in the industry? You guys, feel free to chip in as well.
Well, in terms of the text, I think Sally Rooney writes some really like good female characters. I think they're all very complex, especially in Normal People and Conversation with Friends. Like they're all, they're not always totally innocent with their actions. They do some like morally, ambiguous stuff, but they always feel like they're very grounded. And in terms of her as a person, I mean, she is literally the foremost, most important author currently working. And when she releases a book, no one wants to release a book the same week as her.
I love that.
Her sales going going crazy. And it's very rare to have the top author at the moment be a female in like quite a male-dominated field. She really is right at the top.
Nice. What about you guys? Any thoughts?
So like drawing on the whole thing of like complex characters, like it's really interesting that is because I feel like there was a big like social media trend where it was like being written by a man versus being written by a woman, and it was about how like female authors and female producers add like this multifaceted nature to characters, whereas obviously I feel like even though like misogyny is obviously still a thing in the industry, with more female authors creating layers to characters, it kind of helps that in a way.
Yeah. Ben, thank you for introducing us to our new author. Now, let's move on to our next segment, films. Here to help me dive deep into the world of films are Isabel and Harry, who've got two interesting but very different films to discuss. Can you both tell me what they are, please?
I'm talking about Me Before You.
And I'm going to be talking about The Substance.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Let's first start with Me Before You. Isabel, can you tell us a bit about the film?
Yeah, so basically it's kind of based around this man who is disabled from getting hit by a motorbike. He's called Will.
Yeah.
And basically his parents need to find care for him, so they put out an advert for it. And there's this girl called Lou who comes from a very working class family, like they do struggle to get money. And so she applies for this job and gets it. And she's quite wacky with her clothing and like she's just very like out there and abstract. And basically she's told to look after him for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Because what Will Traynor wants to do at the end of the 6 months is use euthanasia to end his life. And so she looks after him for this time. She does have a boyfriend, but they do kind of fall in love with each other. And then everyone's thinking she's changed his mind, like he is gonna want to stay alive. But then they go on holiday together, him and Lou, and he's like, no, I am going through with this. This is gonna happen. Like my life is not what I want it to be. So yeah, that's pretty much how he goes back home, and he does end his life through euthanasia. So it's very sad. So
No,
good luck to anyone who hasn't
I've
watched
seen
it.
It's so sad. You know, the first time I watched this movie was back in secondary school, and girl, let me tell you, like, I was crying.
Oh, it's so bad.
And I'm an ugly crier, by the way. Like, it was bad.
My mum and my
I
sister
started
put it on, they
crying.
were like, watch this, and I was like, okay. And at the end of it, sobbing, honestly.
Yeah, it's
so
actually
bad.
so sad. Well, should we take a quick clip of it?
Do you have any experience of caregiving?
I've never done it, but I'm sure I could learn.
Then let's go meet Will. Will, this is Louisa Clark. Nathan will talk you through Will's routines and equipment.
You don't have to talk across me, Mother. My brain isn't paralyzed. Yet.
Good morning. Oh, he hates me. Every time I speak, he looks at me like I'm stupid.
To be fair, you are pretty stupid.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that yet.
Interesting choice of footwear.
What do you mean by that?
That can't be from around here.
Why not?
This is the kind of place people come to when they got tired of actually living.
So sad.
Yeah, I started getting a bit emotional again. Wow. So what drew you towards this film, and how did it make you feel, and why?
I think it's because she's not your typical male gaze, like skinny blonde, skinny brunette type of like character in it. Like they're two very, very different people. Like he is from a very like rich family and she's from a very working class family. And I think it's very different, but it kind of shows that they do say in the film that they wouldn't have been brought together unless he did get into this accident, which in a way I kind of think is a bit unrealistic. Like him being in a wheelchair and they have like a whole annex built for him. I'm sure there's plenty of other families in that situation who don't have that type of money to be able to have people to care for him, a doctor on call all the time. So I think in that way it is a bit unrealistic. So I think there is ways that it's just a weird dynamic film. I've never seen really anything like that before. That's what kind of drew me towards it.
What about you guys? Have you watched it? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I have.
How do you feel about it?
I think I sobbed for about an hour. An
hour?
Yeah, it was
Oh my
bad.
God.
I agree with what you're saying about the whole like class thing, but then what I also like about it in the sense of, even though the plot is so far-fetched, the way that it's portrayed, it's so realistic at the same time. Like the whole like premise of it just feels so raw and real. Like I think that was really what drew me to it.
You know what? Romance films always get me.
Oh my God, I love
Because
them.
like,
See,
my
I-
love life is just non-existent.
See, my thing is I don't like romance films or nothing like that.
Same, I avoid it because I don't have anyone with me. I don't have a partner. That's why I just try and avoid it, innit? I just get so jealous and so sad. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. But anyways, what is it that you learned from watching this film, and what can others learn?
I think, like it said in the trailer, live your life like in a cringe way, live your life to the fullest. Like you don't know what's going to happen the next day. You don't know what's going to happen in like 10 minutes time or anything like that. So I think definitely live like boldly and just be yourself. Really, yeah.
Love that. Isn't this an important text for women or women in the industry today?
So the book's written by a woman, and so is the film is directed by a woman. And I think Louisa herself, it doesn't state it in the film, but in the book it said that she was actually sexually assaulted, hence the reason why she dresses so wacky and like covers up quite a bit of herself, I think, just so she's not the male gaze. But I feel like we shouldn't, everyone has different experiences and reacts differently, but I think we should just be ourselves. Like, and if she loves dressing like that. I think that shows a good representation of just be yourself, undeniably, and just, yeah.
Isabel. Now, moving on to our next film, we've got quite a change of pace. Harry, can you tell us about The Substance?
I can. So The Substance is basically about a Hollywood star actress called Elizabeth Sparkle, and she was really, really big in the 90s, early 2000s, but as time has gone on, she's gotten older and people have just become less interested in her. So she ended up getting sacked from her job role, basically, and basically kind of lost everything because no one was really interested in her. So she started hating herself and just being depressed, staying in her flat all day, you know, not doing anything. But she found out about this thing called The Substance, and The Substance is basically if you want a better version of yourself. So she was a bit suspicious, but she eventually did it, injected it into herself, and it's a very, very gory film. She birthed out a new body from the back of herself, so her back split open and she birthed out this younger, better version of herself. But the catch is with The Substance is that you have to live 7 days in your original body and then 7 days in your new one. You can't have more time in the new body and less in the original one. If you do that, then alterations happen. So in the film, she stays in the better body for longer than she should, and then when she switches back, her hand is like all like mouldy and old.
Oh,
you know, it's not a nice sight. But yeah, you can imagine the film just escalates. You know, it's kind of all right, and then it just escalates out of nowhere and just goes to places you didn't even think it would go.
Yeah, that does sound like a really strange concept, but I can already tell that there's a lot to unpack with this.
There is.
Let's watch a clip from the trailer.
People always ask for something new. It's inevitable. At 50, well, it stops.
One single injection unlocks your DNA and will release another version of yourself. This is The Substance, the one and only thing not to forget. You are one. You can't escape from yourself.
Crazy.
Your face watching that.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to look at like yours like faces, yeah, but like my face was just like, ugh. But yeah, so what drew you towards this film and how did it make you feel and why?
I was just bored on a random Tuesday, you know, I wasn't doing much.
Fair enough.
So I checked the cinema and I see what films are on, and I see this film called The Substance. I had no clue what it was about. So I go on my own and it was absolutely crazy. I mean, you can see from the trailer, the film is just absolutely wild, and I could not believe what I was watching. But I went back and watched it probably 5 more times after that in the cinema, showing all my friends, saying, you need to watch this film, it's absolutely amazing. Because I think the message here is so blatant and it's so strong, and it just does not care, and it's fantastic for the message that it's trying to perceive to the audience.
Yeah, what about you guys? Any thoughts?
Can we just talk about how she even looks young when she's her
She's insane.
I don't know how old she's supposed to be.
She's like 60, isn't
She's
she?
like early 60s, I'm sure.
But she's meant to be 50 in the film, though, which is crazy.
Oh my God.
She's good for her age. I've been wearing that sunscreen in my skincare routine.
Yeah, for real.
Like that. Like, what is it you learned from watching this film, and what can others learn?
I guess just embrace who you are and don't try and change because of a trend, or you know, you look at someone and you want to change because you think you're not good enough. I think you need to embrace yourself for who you are and just love yourself, and that is the message that this film is trying to give. So again, it's a really powerful message.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like there was one scene in that movie and it really resonated with me, and it wasn't even like an extreme scene, it was just
I know what scene you're going to say.
Take a guess.
The one where she's about to leave and meet her friend, and she's looking in the bathroom mirror. It gets me.
Like it was so poignant in the way, and it was the way that it was delivered as well. Like I feel like it was just, you would look at it and think, oh, it's not that, but like when you actually put it into context, you're like, wow, like that's probably happened to every woman before.
Exactly.
Why do you think this is an important text for women or women in the industry today?
Well, I'm not exactly the target audience for this film, really. It's aimed for women who, you know, it's basically saying, like I said, embrace yourself.
Yeah.
But the director, you know, I watched the behind the scenes on this film, and the director was talking a lot about how, you know, important it is for basically what I just said. You know, it kind of portrays men in this and men higher up in the industry to be what they are, basically. You could see in the trailer he was sat at the restaurant and he was eating, and you know, like he's eating with his hands, he's just being disgusting, really. And then Demi Moore is sat on the other side and she's all demure. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean, but like, this is real life, because if you think about it, you know, this idea of like an ideal beauty standard, it really does take a toll on women's mental health. And if there was something like that, I'm telling you, like, majority of women would take it. It's just, yeah, it's just not nice. Harry, Isabel, thank you so much for sharing these films and giving us such an interesting conversation around them. And if you're interested in seeing more films like these, we have suggestions for similar films on the screen right now. But now, let's move on to our final panel section, music. For this section, we're going to be stepping away from the world of fiction and start exploring music. I'm joined now by Amy to discuss two incredible women. One's a classic star who's been paving the way for nearly 30 years. One's a more recent artist who's already cemented themselves as an icon. Amy, can you introduce them to our audience?
So today I'm going to be talking about Beyonce and Doechii.
Amazing choices. Let's start with Beyonce, who's been killing it since day one. She's the queens of all queens. But anyways, what drew you towards this artist and how does their music make you feel?
So I grew up with Beyonce and Rihanna, like they were the two artists that I used to listen to the most, like as I was growing up. But I think what I love so much about Beyonce is how she's evolved and how she constantly is trying new things, doing new things. Yeah. So when I first listened to Renaissance, I actually didn't like it because I'm not typically a more house music fan.
Okay.
But obviously in that song it references her Uncle Johnny. And when I did more research, I found out that actually the whole album Renaissance is dedicated to her Uncle Johnny, who was a gay man that died of HIV. So the whole album is a love letter to ballroom culture in America, which was obviously pioneered by gay black men in America. And it was basically, it's speaking on like loving yourself, accepting yourself, unconditionally being who you are.
Never knew that, that's interesting. What is it you learned from getting into this artist and what can others learn?
I think Beyonce's always been one that is a lot about accepting yourself. Like, I'm sorry, but like when people say Beyonce's overrated, I'm like, but you don't listen to her properly. Like, you just listen to the songs that are on the radio. So even from her self-titled album, right after she'd had her kids, and it was about her like redefining and exploring her sexuality and being comfortable in her body again after having kids. And then you've got Cowboy Carter, which has just came out, which is redefining her place as a black woman from Texas, and people saying she's not really country, when in reality we all know what that means. Like, and like the whole CMA thing with the scandal where she performed. And I just think she's always unapologetically been herself and has not been afraid to put herself in spaces where she hasn't necessarily always been welcomed.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a beautiful narrative.
That is. What about you guys? What are your thoughts?
I think going off the fact that like quite a lot of us have grown up with knowing Beyonce, knowing Rihanna, I think the fact that her album kind of like evolves throughout her life, I think is quite a nice thing to go through life together. Because I think a lot of us as girls, we experience quite similar things with different like events. I think that she makes music on that you can really relate to it and just like think, I'm not alone in this. Like Beyonce's gone through this too, so you know, it kind of makes it more relatable.
And can we all remember to thank Beyonce as well?
Yes.
Like.
Thank you, Beyonce.
Love her. Well, thank you so much for that. That was a really good deep dive. Now, let's move on to Dolce.
I mean, fuck, I like pills, I like drugs, I like getting money, I like strippers, I like to fuck, I like day drinking and day parties in Hollywood, I like doing Hollywood shit, snorted Bollywood. What can I say? The shit works, it feels good, and my self-worth's at an all-time low. And just when it couldn't get worse, my ex crashed my place and destroyed all I own. Oopsie, made a oopsie, $100,000 oops made me loopy. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Don't wanna have to turn a nigga guts into soup beans.
Whoa. Okay, Dolce. We don't want to revert back into our old ways, so we're gonna try a breathing exercise, okay?
All right,
when I breathe, you breathe, all right? Let's go.
You know, I never really paid attention to Dolce like that, but like there was this one time I was scrolling on Instagram and it was the live session, I think it was, and then this song came up and I started bopping to it and I goes, yeah, Dolce is sick. She did her thing though. But anyways, enough about me. So what drew you towards this artist and how does their music make you feel?
So she actually had a couple of trending songs on TikTok during lockdown, but I only made the connection recently that was actually her.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so there was do you remember the song where it's like, hi, my name's Dolce with 2 eyes and people doing makeup transitions?
Yeah,
That was Dolce, like, so she has had quite a few popular songs over the years, but I would say it was mainly since Denali's a River that I really, really got into her. And also when she released Alter Ego with JT from City Girls.
Okay.
That was like when I really, really got into her. And I would say again, like the reason why I picked Dolce and Beyonce was because they are two people that hugely will always forever be themselves and are so authentically themselves.
Yeah.
And they will always so I think Dolce's very unique and eccentric in the way that she does things.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm obsessed with it. Like every time I watch like a live performance or a music video, like I'm just gripped. Like I just think she's so cool in the way that she does everything.
Yeah. What about you guys? Any thoughts?
I mean, I wasn't aware of Dolce until the Grammys because obviously she was nominated for, I'm not sure how many, but she ended up winning a Grammy.
It was quite a few, I want to say.
Yeah, she ended up winning a Grammy and everyone was like, why did she win this? Like, saying her music's terrible. So I gave it a listen and instantly just had all the songs on repeat constantly. That album, Alligator Bites Never Heal.
Yeah, unreal.
Just listening to that album on repeat and Alter Ego as well, as you said, really, really good song. So yeah, I mean, I think for me, she's just appeared out of nowhere for me and now it's an artist that I can't stop listening to constantly.
I know what you mean.
I'm always playing her.
She also was the opening act for Beyonce during the Renaissance World Tour in the American leg, which a lot of people don't know, and I only found that out recently.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, with the whole Grammy situation, like what I thought was really, like, what I loved about that situation was that only 2 women that had actually won that album, I think it was Album of the Year, the only 2 of the women that had won it was Lauryn Hill and also Cardi B, and then Dolce was the 3rd person to win it.
Love that. So, what is it you learned from getting into this artist and what can others learn?
So I think these 2 women in particular are, as I've said, it always goes back to like being authentically yourself and who you want to be. And as I said for Beyonce, like there's been spaces where she hasn't always been welcome. So like the country scene in America, like we all know Republicans are crazy in the way that they gatekeep country music, and especially with her position as a black woman in society. And I think the fact that she, like the whole CMA things with the chicks and things like that, like I think that it's a very empowering message of to just always truly be yourself and do what you want to do and put your mind to whatever you want to do. Like, I remember when I graduated from my first degree, I literally posted all my Instagram photos to the Flawless, but the one with the speech in. Like, I just feel like Beyonce has always been such a core person of, like, feminist values, like, even from her early career, like Diva, Upgrade You, like, she's just always been that girl, like she always has, and I feel like it's so nice to listen to. She always will be. Yeah, like literally, like I'm gonna be playing Beyonce to my kids in 20 years. Like, what do you know about this one? Like,
I'm gonna be doing the same thing. Don't worry.
What, straight out the womb? You're just gonna be like,
like you're gonna sit down and listen to Renaissance now.
Aww.
And also with like Doechii, like I remember I seen a video, I think it was on TikTok, and it was her clipped of saying, I've just lost my job, so I need to take music seriously now.
Yeah,
and her whole career has just transformed, and the way that she's turned it around, and she deserves all the love and all the attention that she gets. And I feel like she's a person that's really dedicated herself to her craft, and she's incredible, and I think that's inspirational to anybody, and I really want to see her end up as big as somebody like Beyonce.
Yeah, I reckon she will. She's getting there.
100%.
I want to say that she's probably there already. But yeah, so for both of these artists now, why do you think they are so important for women or women in the industry today?
I would say, so like what I drew on like before, I think Beyonce was a trailblazer. I think she did so many things that other people hadn't done. And I would say with Doechii, I think the fact that she doesn't try and fit into any category, and she does her own thing, and she is who she is and who she wants to be, I think that's really important for young women, because it creates more of this idea of you don't create the narrative. No, sorry. Oh.
No, carry on.
So it creates the idea of like, you create your own narrative, and I also firmly believe as well, like the music that you listen to is the energy that you put into the world. So I believe that like when you're walking around listening to sad music, things like that, like it subconsciously affects your mood. So I believe that when you listen to music that speaks on things like self-love, positivity, confidence, it subconsciously influences your mood and makes you more positive and more confident.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's been so fun to discuss these musical icons, and that also brings us to the end of our panel. Let's give it up for our amazing guests. Thank you, guys. But don't change the channel just yet. Now that we've learned so much from our panel, it's time to get a look into the lives of the people that help make entertainment possible, which is why I'm pleased to bring on our final guest. He's a music enthusiast, a model, and now the founder of the events organisation group, Our Turn Brum. Please give it up for Alfie McIntyre.
Thank you for having me today.
Alfie, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to Are You Not Entertained?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, to start off, can you introduce us to Our Turn Brum? What does your company do?
So Our Turn Brum is a music events and media company based in Birmingham, and we kind of focus on pushing Birmingham as a music city, as it's a site so often overlooked compared to other cities in the UK, especially like London and Manchester. So a big focus for me when I was starting it was just making sure that I'm always pushing Birmingham through like our social media and like content, and then also through the events that we do, always getting local artists, people that may not have had the opportunity to perform before, or people that have but are still based in the local area and want to expand but are just looking for an audience to build. So yeah, that's what we do, and it's been a bit of a journey, but it's been a good one, and I think we're getting to the point now where it's just a pleasure to put on these events, and everyone really enjoys them, so we're just going to keep it going, and we've got some stuff in the works, so
Okay.
it's been good, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about your career path? How did you get into events management? But let me get serious about this one because I'm taking notes.
It was actually a bit of a whim, to be honest. I did originally want to do sports at uni, but obviously I was COVID year for my A-levels, so everything was a bit mash up. So I ended up just picking to do a music industry course, just because I always loved music, and it was actually just a suggestion by my mum to actually do a course in something that you like really enjoy, rather than like what you think you'd enjoy studying.
Aww.
So I did that. For the first 2 years, I was like good at uni, but I didn't really know where I wanted to like take it. Just because I wasn't so aware of like how you get into things, all that sort of thing. But then for my final year, I decided to start Our Turn as like my big final project. So put on 2 events in that year. And then the second one was like essentially what I used for the submission for the project. And yeah, it just went really well throughout the first year. I built up the social media quite well. The event from like the first one we did to the second one was like such a big jump. And then from that I kind of decided just to keep it going, because it kind of felt like people didn't really see it as a uni project anymore. Whereas I was like getting feedback, oh, like this was just my event sort of thing. So I decided to keep it going. And yeah, I applied for funding from PRS last summer, which is essentially enabled us to keep doing these events, because without it, I personally couldn't afford just to pay the money.
Yeah.
Which is what I was doing in my final year of uni. So yeah, we're funded by PRS, and yeah, we had to plan like a schedule of events. I essentially planned like a year from last September up until about August. So we're getting towards the end of that now. So yeah, but it was definitely like I just made a different choice, and now it's led to like loads of different things. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, a whim in a way, but I feel like when you love music, like you'll find yourself in the right spaces, you know?
Yeah, no, I get you. So what does a day in the life of working in events management look like? I bet it's hectic. There's a lot.
It does get hectic,
Yeah.
especially close to the event days. Times where we've got, because we do bi-monthly events, we usually have like, there's usually a month where I haven't got like too much to do, because it's like just after the last one.
Yeah.
Getting that promo ready for the next one. But when it comes to close to the event days, and I've got to like deal with artists, and like artists might be trying to change like their tech specs one day before, and like or give me issues about they need to change their sound check time. So a lot of the time, I think a big part of it is just being organised, and just knowing what you've got when, just so you know straight away what you can move around and what you can't. Yeah, even with a lot of it is just like, a lot of it nowadays especially is just like social media content. Like social media is just the main like advertising system. So, like, especially students, like people my age, and even older than that now, if you think about how long Facebook has been around. So yeah, a lot of it is like social media, thinking about social media strategies, what time is the right time to put this out in the day, and all that sort of thing.
I know what you mean.
So yeah, it can be chaotic. You've got to be organised. You've got to plan. You've got to... A lot of it is also like scouting for people that you want to get on to perform. I'm lucky enough at the point now where we get people come to me and they kind of ask for performances. So I've kind of always got a list of people who would be interested. But at the start, it was like such a long process, like going through Instagrams and trying to find out, who would fit this guy and who would work well together.
But networking is a big thing as well, isn't it?
Network is actually massive, actually. That is one thing I would say, if you're really trying to get into music, like you've got to get out and network, because I really don't think my company would be where it is now if I hadn't like done that in my final year of uni and just got out to like everywhere I could and just like met everyone in the industry. Because I feel like now I'm quite well connected in Birmingham's like creative scene.
Yeah.
Whereas like starting third year, I just really wasn't. And I think that really enabled me to like take the stuff to the next level. Guys,
create your little LinkedIn profile. Trust
Network.
me. Yeah. Trust me, it will benefit you. Well, there you have it, guys. Life of an entrepreneur. Alfie, thank you so much for coming on to Are You Not Entertained?
It's been a pleasure.
It's been so inspiring to hear all about your work, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
And with that, we've reached the end of our show. Once again, let's have a round of applause for the amazing guests we've had on today. And thank you for being such an amazing audience. It's been so great to learn all about these inspiring creatives with you. But our journey doesn't end here. Now it's up to you to look out for any of the entertainment we've discussed or recommended that's interested you, and give them a try for yourself. If you want more from us, check out the Are You Not Entertained TikTok page for exciting behind-the-scenes content. And when you're done, we'll be back next week, same time, same channel, with plenty more films, books and music, and a whole new panel to share with you. If I don't see you until then, good afternoon, good evening and good night.